All right. Another episode of Pounded Live, guys. Who's excited? I am very excited. We have a guest today talking some NBA and some NHL. We got G-Dog from G-Dog Sports. And I'm going to bring him in.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how we doing, G-Dog?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So, let's talk some NBA. We got the Sixers and the Hawks. First game. It's been a wacky series. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it definitely has. Well, obviously the Sixers need to win tonight to avoid going home early again.
Yep.
So that's the main thing. They have to do what they can, and if they can, I think they have a good chance to get to the next round, obviously, and obviously can possibly get past probably the Nets, in my opinion, over the Bucks. I just think that the Bucks played really well last night, but it's also kind of when I think the Nets are at home and they're on full strength. I don't think with the experience of Durant and such that they'll let them lose. But and when it comes to the 76ers, it's just I think that I was really surprised, to be honest, the other night when they beat the 76ers. I couldn't believe that they beat them out. I mean, they were up by 31 points or something like that. It's ridiculous.
It was crazy. Crazy. I think were you on the Sixers at that point?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I don't know how you go against the Sixers at home in that spot. Definitely in that type of game.
Yeah, Atlanta went on a 63-34 run in 20 minutes. I mean, it's pretty stupid. So
the NBA at its best pops out, you know?
Yeah, well, Embiid didn't help himself with the 0 for 12 stretch, so obviously that's one of the major things. And then Ben Simmons can't make a free throw to save his life. So.
Oh, yeah, I saw a clip on Twitter the other day, or I think it was yesterday, how in 2017, Hackeben, he's like, yeah, that's not going to happen no more. And it's still going on to this day. Dude can't hit a free throw if his life depended on it.
Well, it's pretty bad when people get, like, you know, he can't hit a three-point shot, and he makes a couple threes, and everybody's cheering, like, whoa, yeah, you know, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
And then they want to compare him and say he's a top 5 player and stuff. No.
Oh, God, no. Are you kidding me? They've got to be from Philly to say that.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff on Twitter lately about it. It's pretty funny, but
all you can do is just laugh at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I have the tonight. I have them as a small favorite in my numbers, but the spread's too close to really be an edge enough for me to pull the trigger one way or the other. I mean, I'd expect the 76ers to do what they have to do, but you don't know. I was expecting the Nuggets to do something too, and they never did anything. So.
I think the Suns are for real. In my opinion, the Suns are peaking at the right time going into that series.
I saw something today about Chris Paul being on COVID protocol or some bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, the guy's been vaccinated. It's like, why are you even testing? I mean, isn't that the point?
Exactly.
I mean, that's just stupid.
I think he'll be back. If anything, he'll miss one game, but I mean, I think it's more of a blowover than anything.
It's just ridiculous.
It's the NBA injury report at its best. I mean, this is like it sums up the entire year. So
yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, for them to talk about it now, and then when it's game time, it'll be a game time decision. Watch, and then he'll change everything.
Oh, all of a sudden he's better.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he never had it. It's like if you're not contagious, I mean, the whole thing is. I mean, it's what was it like the PGA a couple weeks ago, and Jon Rahm was winning, and it's like he was asymptomatic. They're playing golf outdoors, plenty of social distancing, plenty of fresh air. I mean, give me a break. It's a joke.
Hard to believe a golfer catching COVID at this time of the year, especially being vaccinated.
Well, not only that, it's just the fact that even if he did have COVID, okay, cool, he's winning the tournament. You know, leave him out there by himself. Put him in a, even if he has pairing, they have plenty of distance. You know, he was asymptomatic anyway.
Definitely.
Which means that it was probably a false test because the testing's bullshit. But that's a whole nother
Yeah.
subject.
No, definitely. I mean, I agree with you 100%. They could have approached that a hell of a lot better.
I mean, when you're testing people when they're already vaccinated, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of getting the vaccine. That's what everybody's been told, so.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's a whole other topic. So if you had to pick Sixers -3 or Hawks +3, what is your lean?
I would lean 76ers.
Okay.
When it comes to the total, I think the total should get under the number tonight. I have it pegged right around. Let me see. Total is 221. I'd say, I have it. My numbers run around 212, around that area. So it should come in under. The previous 3 games have been under that total. They've only had one back and forth game. I think that was like the second game. So that's kind of more of a feeling out process. So you think defense would be at a premium?
No, I couldn't agree more with you. My lean is actually on the Hawks +3. I think the Sixers are going to come out firing. So if you're one of those viewers that like the Sixers first quarter, maybe first half, but I think the Hawks are going to cut it close in the second half and possibly cover, possibly win home court.
Yeah.
But I'm just not sold on the Sixers team.
Yeah.
But the total, I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, I agree with you in regards to the competitiveness and the heart. I mean, if they were, their biggest chance was the last game because you're at home, you're up by 30 points. I mean, if you can't get it done then, I don't think you can get it done necessarily. So.
I agree. I don't know how you take the Sixers on the road when they couldn't even take care of home court.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not touching this game. This is more of just a lean and just a prediction, but
Yeah.
I'm not putting my hard-earned money on this game.
I'm not playing a side in this game at all.
Yeah,
not at all. I'd look at the total perhaps, and that's it.
Yeah, I think the total overall is the safest play if you're going to make a bet. So I agree with you. So let's get off this garbage game because there's no solid play in this game. I think we can all agree to that.
Yeah. Well, in between talking about the next game, did you see that the Celtics, Brad Stevens' big first move as the basketball operations guy traded Kemba Walker?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bringing back Al Horford.
Nothing surprises me in the NBA. Nothing.
Yeah.
The way it's ran, nothing surprises me. I mean, I have my opinion on the NBA, and I just leave it at that because it's probably really inappropriate for a lot of viewers.
Well, the whole thing with them being signed up now with bookmakers and stuff, I mean, come on, with the injury reports and everything. I mean, there may not be any, stuff going on, but I mean, it really leads you to believe that, you're giving these bookmakers an edge, and you got a player, all-star player, somebody places early wagers and then like, oh, this guy's actually going to play tonight, or, oh, this guy's not going to play tonight.
Yeah, like the James Harden the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, he just screwed up everybody's bets. I mean, if you place your Bucks bet in the morning, you're like running around with your head cut off. I know I was.
Yeah.
I had the Bucks and many, many ways in that game. So, but I mean, overall, I stuck with the Bucks because I knew James Harden was going to be a decoy more than anything. And he was. It was more Durant taking over and showing what he's really got, proving himself.
Yeah, he played 48 minutes in that game, or 40 plus minutes in this, and then last night he only played 40. But I'm sure he's probably a little weary.
Oh yeah, and then tomorrow
the players today are so soft, dude. It's just ridiculous.
I just got my hair cut, and that's what I was telling my barber. I was like, it's a whole nother league this year. I mean, since LeBron went to LA, he's just soft. Any other year, he was in that position, he would have took over the game, and he would have beat the Suns single-handedly.
And then his laissez-faire afterwards press conference was ridiculous, dude.
Oh, I didn't even watch it.
I'm a Lakers fan. But I can't stand them right now. It's like I'm glad they won the title last year because there wasn't a whole lot to root for. But when it comes to LeBron's a chump, plain and simple. I just don't like LeBron.
He's got soft. He's soft now.
So. Well, he's always, I'm the GOAT. I went to Cleveland and won the championship. After that, I thought I was the GOAT. I mean, he said that on his own show with the shop or whatever it was. He's like, yeah, well, I'm like, dude, you're not even going to win as many championships as Kobe at 5, much less 6, And, obviously he's got a crap record because he's not everything he thinks he is.
No.
He's all about LeBron and all about the money.
That's it. Ego, ego, ego. Yeah, LeBron's a whole another subject. Again, that's another thing. Don't want to get me started on LeBron.
Good, we're on the same page then.
yeah. Don't get me started on LeBron. That's a whole.
Well, I grew up in the '80s, and it's like watching those games and the Celtics and the 90s, and you had the Celtics and the Pistons, and you had hardcore basketball and just guys fouling hard and just playing hard. And I remember the biggest thing that said a little while back was Larry Bird when he was coaching, and he got out of coaching because he could not stand the fact that guys wouldn't bring it 100% every day. And it's just gotten worse and worse and worse ever since then. Now they coddle these guys like they're freaking fragile. They're making more money than anybody's ever made. I mean, these guys back in the day in the NBA, they didn't have those huge contracts or anything. Jordan was high paid, and those guys in that era started to. Previous to that, they didn't have big money. No. It wasn't big NBA TV contracts and all that stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Nope. Not at all.
Make 25, 35, $40 million a year, and you're sitting out because, we want to save him for the postseason. All that crap last year with Kawhi and everything. I mean, just having him sit out and rest, and it's just bullshit.
Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. So
speaking of Kawhi.
Yeah, exactly. Clippers. So the Clippers are at home. Am I correct? I think I typed this in wrong.
Let me just double check. Yeah, they're at home.
Okay,
they're 1.5 point dogs because Kawhi is confirmed out with an injury, supposed torn ACL injury, so they might be done.
He had season-ending surgery on Wednesday.
Oh, really? I didn't even know he had surgery. I was reading the pregame write-up and then didn't say anything about his being out indefinitely.
Oh, yeah.
Always going to be second fiddle. Clippers, man.
I just think the Jazz are going to come out and they're going to take Game 6. It's going to be a battle. But I think if they just contain Paul George, I think that just wins the game in Game 6 personally.
Well, that's the problem with Paul George. You don't know. Again, he's another player that's very inconsistent.
Yeah. Big time.
Wears his hair like he's a badass with his cornrows and stuff. He's all gangster, but he plays inconsistent and he's soft.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Anyway.
What do you
seems to be a sore subject for me today. I don't know why.
It sounds like it.
It's the only thing going on, though, dude.
I picked some topic.
It's funny.
So what do you like, the Clippers or the Jazz?
Well, the Jazz have their backs up against the wall. I mean, the spread's only, 2 points at this point, or 1.5, I think it is down to. So even though my numbers have Clippers, that was prior to Kawhi being out. So I'd probably take the Clippers. And I'd also expect a lower scoring game as well, the total.
Yeah.
Looking at the under.
I think the
not
Jazz
official, but my lean is under. But the Jazz definitely have to. Well, I mean, the Jazz has been one of the best teams in the league all year. So, I mean, if they're going to pull out all the stops, this is it because their back's against the wall. It's an elimination game. They have to do what they got to do.
I'm not sold on the Clippers.
I've never been sold on the Clippers because during the regular season, they've never shown a championship mentality. They've always just they win a little bit and then they lose to teams you shouldn't lose to, and then they win a couple more games. You don't have that. Even the Golden State Warriors just a couple years ago when they had they went 73 wins. I mean, that was that was more attuned to like Jordan in the day, when they had 72 and 10. It was just like they had the killer instinct every night. They're going to dominate you. Didn't matter. Now it's like, oh, well, they take the game off, or they'll just have their star players sitting out because they don't put any emphasis on it. And then they think they're just going to slide into the playoffs and clear everybody out. It's bullshit. What are they, 4 seed? I mean, they should have been a number 1 seed. Lakers 100%. Weren't in their way. Lakers 100%. Weren't in their way. They had no excuses.
Nope.
No and they excuses. Just that competitive drive. And that's Doc Rivers. That's another thing too with Philly. You got Doc Rivers there.
Choke. What I saw.
Choke master.
Yeah. was it in the last, was it biggest 8-time blown leads? He's got 5 of them.
Yeah.
5 leads in NFL in playoff history.
Yeah, I believe it because that's his reputation.
Yeah.
He got lucky with the Celtics, but he had a player like Paul Pierce that was just a competitive drive. And I mean, then you had Garnett too. They were both like really hardcore competitors.
Yep.
You know, all these guys are competitors. Otherwise, they wouldn't be at this level or whatever.
Exactly.
But I think once they get to that level, they take it for granted. And a lot of them, I think, I don't see that killer instinct in many of the players nowadays.
No, I agree 100%. It's a different league, that's for sure. It's a different league.
Yeah, it gets kind of annoying. I don't watch it very often at all.
No, I don't watch it. I mostly will watch the baseball games because that's what makes me money in the long run is the baseball games.
Yeah.
NBA, I mean, I think we can agree the stats and trends, you got to throw it out the window, especially right now in the NBA. None of them are going to help you.
Well, last year in the bubble was really when it kind of started to go south for a little while because of that. It was like an open gym format where they were playing no defense, and it's just and you calculate numbers for totals, and then there's no defense that night, and they decide to blow out 250 points or whatever. It's just ridiculous. You look back at some of those scores too, like back in the day too, when you had like the Bulls and the Pistons and all those guys. I mean, those games were like in the 90s, like 80s, 90s points total. I mean, ridiculous.
Yeah. Yep. Nobody knows how to play defense these days.
No, everybody's about slamming the ball and, who can dunk better and all the cool stuff they do and everything. It's like, yeah, you're a great athlete, but the fundamentals are out the window.
Yeah.
That's the thing with baseball nowadays, too, in my opinion, is that you don't have these hitters anymore like Mattingly and Wade Boggs and Tony Gwynn and Kirby Puckett, the guys that hit for average. And the guys that are always pulling clutch hits. You got everybody, the strikeout rates are higher than they've ever been. It's ridiculous. And then they're going after the pitchers because there must be something that they're putting on the ball to make them swing and miss. It's like, no, they're trying to, it's all these young players, millennials and the younger generations too. That's just like swinging for the fence, want to make the headlines, want to be on Sports Center, all this bullshit.
Yep.
It's just annoying.
Couldn't agree more. I agree.
I guess I'm fired up today or something. I don't know.
You are, man. You had your coffee a little too late. You got energy drink or something? Oh, man. So, yeah. I mean, I'm on the Jazz. You're saying Clippers. I'm on the Hawks. You're saying – I mean, I think we –
I didn't say Clippers. I didn't say Clippers.
Oh, okay. You said Jazz to win this game?
More than likely, I would take the Jazz in the spot, definitely. They have no choice. And then with a 1.5 point spread, I mean, it's basically a no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well just take the -1.5 over the money line. It's kind of take my chances of losing by 1.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be that close.
No. So let's move on to NHL. Let's get away from NBA because, I mean, one thing we can both agree is this NBA is a hot mess, especially tonight.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So this is an interesting series. During the week, I said the Canadians had no shot in hell even winning a game after seeing game 1, and they surprised everybody in taking game 2.
Yeah.
What do you like in this game in Montreal?
I've been to the stadium in Montreal, and I've been to a playoff game in Montreal, and it's pretty intense atmosphere. I mean, they've just started letting fans come back in now. I think that's kind of what probably propelled them and has helped them and is going to help them in this series. The Knights obviously have been the best team in the league all year, and they just they've opened the scoring in 10 of their last 13 playoff games and outscored opponents by a 12-3 margin in the first period. So they tend to get out fast, and the Knights got off to a slow start in the last game, and they just never really caught up. So, and it's been kind of that way throughout the playoffs with them. So, Montreal like to start tough and start fast, and Carey Price has just been incredible. And that's the thing with that. That's the thing that's tricky about the NHL is that, you have this regular season and you go through all these different things, and then you get like an 8 seed, like the Kings years ago, and they can go through the playoffs and win a cup, or it's like a completely separate season.
Yep.
Seeding doesn't mean anything. It just depends on who gets going. I mean, look at the Blues a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they came out of nowhere.
And it's just they end up. But I mean, I think the talent-wise, I think that the overall talent and the way that it should go according to numbers and everything, it should be the Knights. But I think the Canadians really playing some good hockey right now.
No, I agree. I think Vegas is going to take the overall series, but I think they're going to lose one more game, as they'll take it in 6. Canadians have to win one game in Montreal. They have to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So if they can beat Vegas in Las Vegas, and that's an intense atmosphere right there.
Yeah, it's all the celebrities in the theater and everything going on. Yeah.
So I truly think the Canadians do take one of these next 2 games, and then Vegas is just going to go on and just spank them the rest of the series.
Yeah. I was talking about the fans. They had 18,000 people almost at Las Vegas, and Canadians, because of Canada's rules. Luckily, they even have any fans whatsoever, but they're letting in 3,500 fans. So,
wow, surprised they did that.
That's ridiculous. There's still some territories up there still on lockdown, for crying out loud.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. They're like one of the only countries. I mean, there's a few countries, but they're one of very few countries that are still locked down.
Communists up there.
Yep. So that's a great show. I appreciate you showing up, G-Dog. We both agree on Vegas going to win the series. Do you think Vegas is going to take Game 3, or do you take the value?
I think the value and the momentum carrying over from the first.
Yep. No, I agree. I think Canadians steal one in Game 3, and then Vegas is going to go out and just spank them the rest of the series.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, great show. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
Where can everyone find you, G-Dog?
On Twitter at G-Dog Sports.
Awesome. All right, guys. That's our show with NBA and NHL. I'll see you guys in about 10 minutes for our MLB special. Thank you again. Have a good one.
You too, man. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.